Coming to you live from Rock 9 Studios, it's Geologic History with Alex Lepre, Samson Korger, Elizabeth Lorch, and Hendrik Siles.
Conglomerate rock is a rock composed of other rounded sedimentary rocks. These rocks are smooth due to the distance it travels due to deposition. You can usually find these rocks at alluvial fans. This rock is composed of shale, limestone, and sandstone. This conglomerate rock also contains argopectin gibbous, which is also known as the Atlantic calico scallop, and this is only found on the Atlantic coast beaches. These Atlantic calico scallops have been dated to be 1,800,000 old. Due to the law of superposition, we can show that this rock is the youngest out of all in the cross-section. We can show this because before the tilt, this rock would have been under the sandstone on the opposite side.
This is medium-grained sandstone. This sedimentary rock is composed mostly of quartz. It was formed when sand is deeply buried and the pressure of the burial and is slightly higher than the temperatures allows for the minerals to deform. The grains become more tightly knit together and the sediment is compacted, typically found near oceans, rivers, and lakes, for example on a beach. The rock is older than the granite because it has inclusions of it, but it is younger than the conglomerate according to the laws of superposition. This rock is also tilted at a 45-degree angle. The event took place when the basalt layer intruded 225,600 years ago.
Granite is an igneous rock formed underground due to the intense heat and pressure underground. Granite has a rough texture with crystals prominent in the structure. Granite is formed underground from magma that was under so much pressure and heat it was made into a rock. Granite has a crystalline structure due to the heat it was exposed to. Granite is older than 225,600 years old, and I figured this out by using the law of superpositioning. The event that granite went through is it had intruded the oldest rock conglomerate.
Sandstone, granite, and conglomerate rocks are all tilted with an erosional layer above it. These rocks tilt when there is an uplift from below and the layers fold or tilt.
Unconformities occur when the sea levels drop, eroding away material, creating an uneven surface. Unconformity 1 was formed by glaciers eroding the surface. This was covered up with ash due to a volcano eruption after the glaciers eroded the surface.
This is a representation of the ash layer. An ash layer is caused by a large volcanic explosion, leaving ash falling to the ground. Here we have found thorium-230, which has a half-life 75,200 years old. And if you multiply that by how many half-lives it has gone through, which was 15, you get the number 601,600 years old, and that is how old it is.
Unconformity 2 occurred when the ash was eroded by the lowering sea levels and then covered up with sediment carried by the rising sea levels.
The next rock is limestone. Limestone is a sedimentary rock that formed after the ash layer and before the shale layer. It has a fine, or in some cases, a coarse texture. An angular unconformity occurred, along with an intrusion. By the law of superpositioning, I found what came before and after the limestone by looking at our cross-section. The next layer is the shale layer. It is found in between the two limestone layers. Shale is a fine-grained clastic rock made of mud flakes and clay minerals found in deep oceans or lagoons. Geologists have found fossils of the viviparous, a freshwater river snail that dates back anywhere from the Jurassic period all the way up to the present. The shells drift with the current, and that is how we are finding their fossils today.
This rock type is fine-grained basalt. It formed when lava reached the Earth's surface at a volcano or a mid-ocean ridge. Basalt is composed of mostly gabbro, and the lava cools quickly after a few days or a couple weeks, which is why it formed solid rock with smaller, fine-grained crystals. The mineral content is generally pyroxene and plagioclase and olivine. If it is porphyritic, it will be made up of olivine, pyroxene, and plagioclase. Thorium-230's half-life is 75,200 years, but this basalt rock went through 3 half-lives, therefore its age is 225,600 years. Basalt intruded the sandstone, granite, limestone, and shale. The event of the intrusion is the same age as the rock itself. There are inclusions of sandstone, granite, limestone, and shale, which are metamorphic and sedimentary rocks.
This is limestone layer number 2. Limestone layer number 2 is the top layer above shale, which means it's the youngest layer. It is typically found in shallow, warm waters where the sediment combines to make limestone. You may find a lot of shells here, some that are fossilized. The shells come into these coves because they are washed up from the ocean and they rest there until they are found or buried.